Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Lo and behold, as of early this weekend, I'm thinking either Friday or Saturday, Giants popped up a new free DLC. Now, supposedly this is available to everybody. I don't know if it's out right now yet for the Xbox and PlayStation users, but it is coming for you guys. See here, it's the free DLC, Farming Classics. You need to download this because it comes with a ton of stuff, and it's free. So what's included? Well, we're going to go over that tonight. We're going to take a real quick look here, and I don't want to get in-depth yet because we're going to take actual in-game looks, but we have 8 new tractors plus a new front loader, along with the equipment that goes with it. We have a loading wagon that is self-propelled, and a bunch of farming implements. So why the heck are we looking at a Dutzfar? Well, I want to give you a size comparison. And I know this is a mod version of the Dutzfar 661. This is a 631 with a loader, but the idea is that, well, this is a pretty small tractor. It's one of the base tractors that you get in the game whenever you start a new map. On a lot of the mod maps, they have this tractor as your default tractor. Also, both of the non-Eastern European maps, so Bjornholm, and the American map, Westbridge, both give you like 10 of these. Not really, but like 2 or 3 of them when you start the game. So I just wanted to show you, this is like what you would consider a small tractor. It's 140 some odd horsepower. We're going to take a look here and see what comes with the Farm Classic pack. Yes, that's right. When you see this tractor next to the Dutzfar, it makes the Dutzfar AgroStar look like a monster truck in proportion. These tractors that come with this game are so tiny, the new Classic pack. So, hope I got in the Dutzfar. I didn't want to do that. So you can see here, just, riding up next to it. I mean, we are really small in comparison. There we go. The other thing I wanted to show you, too, one more size comparison. We're going to run over here to the... Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that I was a little bit disappointed in the fact that they did not include the Farr Harvester. Usually the Farr Harvester is included with... Well, it's been in all of their games except for this one. So the phone versions of the game and the 2013 model... or model. The 2013 version of the game had a crappy old Farr Harvester. Now I've downloaded this one. I don't like it. It looks too cartoony. It ends up looking like cell shading. So you can see here that it doesn't look too realistic. I'm probably going to dump it, but for now it's an old Harvester. It kind of matches. But the reason why I'm doing this part is because, I just want you to see here. This is the smallest header trailer, and it looks absolutely ginormous compared to this tractor, once again, so it's a scale thing. This is just a little teeny header trailer, but when you compare it to the tractor, it's enormous. So these tractors really are meant for small farming. They are not meant for the large farm. These are tiny tractors. One of the cool things about that, though, is that it brings a different scale. Now, so let's take a look at the Goldner, whatever. I think it's Goldner. Yes, Goldner tractors. This is a G40. This being the only front loader that came with the pack. It does not have a shovel that is articulate. So you can raise and lower it, but you cannot pivot the shovel. It only raises and lower. To dump it out, you have to press the M button, and that releases... Hang on. It's not working. Maybe I have to dump. Oh, there, we have to pick this first. If I press the M button, it dumps it. And you got to be careful when you do that because it'll actually dump whatever is in there. And if it's not directly over the trailer, it'll spill out all over the ground too. So it's kind of a dud. But, oops, wrong button. Yeah, I'm not real keen on this one. It's a cool tractor. It's really neat that they gave us a front loader. But another issue is that it only has this little tiny bucket. So it takes forever to shovel anything. In other words, you know how the maps, when you play on normal, they give you a little bit of food, a little bit of, not food, but a little bit of the items to put in your trailer. Unloading this, I did the corn over here. You can see here I did all the corn. It took me almost half an hour to unload this. into the trailers. It took forever because that bucket is so small that you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's one of the reasons why I bought the Dutz Farr. I figured this was more of a, still in that classic era. It's a newer tractor, like 80s, I think, or maybe late 70s, but it has a much bigger shovel capacity in comparison. And I thought, well, I need to get this because it takes too long to unload that stuff otherwise. And this farm does not have any silos that have automatic loaders, so you have to do it manually. So the bucket is really small. The other problem with this front loader is the only other attachment that you get is a manure fork. You don't have any pallet forks, so you can't move pallets around. If you're doing sheep, you can't move your sheep around. And it also doesn't give you any bale forks, so you can't pick up the bales, even the little bales that are with the new baler that we have. You can't pick any of them up. So you have to have a tractor that can, or some kind of device that can pick up the bales, and that can also pick up anything that needs a pallet fork. And so I ended up going with this tractor because it allows me to do all of the modern attachments. So that's kind of a disappointment. It's a neat tractor, but it doesn't give us anything new. Oh, and by the way, I should point this out. These are all assets that came from the 2013 version of the game. So if you've been, if you've only played 2015, it's really cool to have these tractors. However, they were all available in the 2015 or 2013 version of the game. And I have mentioned several times that I was disappointed that we did not have access to them because I like this open tractor, small farm feel. And so now we have them. One of the things that I also would like to point out is that when I drive around, I actually set my speedometer between 10 and 15 kilometers per hour because honestly, this is probably the speed that you would be driving around the farm in on a tractor of this size. You're not going to fly around the farm at 20 or 30 kilometers an hour. That's pretty fast for a little tractor. So let's go ahead and drive over to the tractor barn. Let's take a look at the tractors that come with the game, and then we'll take a look at some of the other assets that are, or with the DLC, and then we'll take a look at some of the other assets. So I like the brake squeak. All right, so small to big. Well, I have some of these a little bit out of order. The smallest tractor in the group is the Booker, and this is a 38 horsepower tractor. It's really tiny. You can see even compared to the small tractors, it's little. We also have a 40 horsepower. Here's the Goldner again. This one is the non-loader version. And let's see here. Hang on one second. All right, so anyway, here's the Goldner. This is also 40 horsepower. Moving up in the world a little bit, well, we'll jump over here. This is the other small tractor. We have the Hats. This is another 38 to 40 horsepower tractor. Really cool motor. I love the way the motor is set up with those, I guess they would be spark plug wires, ignition wires or something. I'm not set up as a server, Seth, I told you. So I think out of all the tractors, well, I don't know. There are many of them that I like. I don't know. I can't pick my favorite. This one's cool, though. I like the fact that the steering arm is on the outside. You can see the steering arm when you steer the tractor. You can see the arm move. Let me see if I can get a good view here while I'm in the barn. You can watch the steering arm move. That's pretty cool. It's not like, once again, it's not anything that wasn't in the 2013 version. And they really haven't done much to up the models. These are the same models that were in the 2013 version. However, they do get dirty now. And they do look cool when they get dirty. So I try to keep them clean. But all right, so moving up in horsepower, we have the Linder. This moves us up into the 45 to 55 horsepower range. This is an odd tractor the way it's laid out in the back. You can see here it's got that strange, it's probably a battery compartment, like my lawn tractor, the battery's back there. But it's just weird how the seat's kind of forward, where most of these tractors, the seat's right at the back of the tractor. This guy, they move the seat more towards the middle of the tractor, and it's got some room in the back. So it's an interesting design. But just a unique tractor right there for the Linder. We also have Hurlimann. This guy's, I think, 45 or 50 horsepower once again. So it's a little bit more horsepower than the other tractors. I love the engine detail on this one. You can really see all the pieces, parts. It's kind of cool. There's a lot of engine detail.
Redundant. Pieces, parts?
Yeah, pieces, parts. But I like the Goldner too. I think these are both really classic looking red farm tractors. The Booker, it looks too much like a 1920s, sports car. 1930s. Yeah, it's weird. Now we move to the bigger tractors. We have the Dutz. This is a 75 horsepower model, the D80. And much larger motor. Once we're getting in the bigger tires here, this tractor's starting to get, big. And you can see compared to the tractors across the way, it's a much larger tractor. And we also have the Baler, and this guy is also a Baler. This guy's also 75 horsepower, 74 horsepower, something like that. So these two tractors are more good, are better for pulling some of the larger equipment that is now included with the DLC. All right, so those are the tractors. Those are the stars of the show. We do have one more tractor I'm going to show you. I've left my header out there, my cartoon header. Last but not least, and you can see even here, with these new small tractors, it makes this Brantner trailer look huge. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Here we have a Schluter, or however, Schluter, 150 horsepower tractor. This is the largest of the group. The textures are terrible on this tractor. It really looks horrible. I'm sorry. I don't feel like it belongs as part of this mod, but out of all the tractors, this one looks terrible. The other ones are pretty good looking. This looks cartoony. But whatever. They included it. It's there. I bought it for my farm. So let's go ahead and walk over here. And the reason why we need this tender cart with the fertilizer and seeds inside is because the new fertilizer obviously is super tiny to go along with our super tiny tractors. And we also have our seeders. These are really tiny also. I think you're going to find that if you're playing with multiplayer, it's good. Also, if you are running if you're going to run the Follow Me mod, you can run two tractors. Obviously, have one guy follow you off to the left a little bit or off to the right and seed along with you, because it takes forever. One of these seeders it takes you 4 loads full of seeds to plant one small, like half-hectare field, and you're going to be going forever because it's slow. I mean, these are really small, so it takes a long time to get anything done with these tractors. But that's part of the fun. I mean, that is part of the simulation aspect and the fact that you're going to need to take longer to do anything. These slower tractors, that's why you get bigger tractors, is so you can cover more area at once. So we're digressing, going back to small tractors. But you do need this tender trailer to go with you so that you can keep filling up while you're in the fields. And you'll need, obviously, one of the big tractors to take with you. Some of the other equipment that comes with the mod, we're going to look at all of it. This is our water trailer. So you can, that replaces the modern one. This one's old-fashioned looking, and I like it. Holds 1,000 gallons, I think, or liters. We're going to run through here. We also have a new manure wagon that they've given us as the manure slot. I don't have any cows yet, so we did buy the manure wagon. There it is. It's the Krone Optima, or Optimi. And this is, or Optimat. Is it Mat? M-A-T? Yeah, Optimat. So we have a very low-capacity manure spreader, but it's there. And I like the way the wheels are all worn out. We also have this really old-fashioned looking slurry wagon. I don't know. This looks like it came from, the Old West. Or I suppose Western Europe.
The Old Western Europe.
Yeah, the Old West. Okay, moving along. We have the mowing equipment. So we have... Oh, heck, where did my tedder go? Well, anyway, cutting heads. This basically flips off to the side. It's a sickle mower. This is where the tractor goes, and this will drop down and drag along behind you and cut the lawn off to your right. I use a pair of them with 2 tractors, and we get cutting done a lot faster. The only problem I have with this model is that it gets stuck on the ground in weird places. So if the ground is bumpy underneath the grass, you'll actually get stuck, and the tractor will stop moving. You can't get any forward motion. That's kind of a bummer because it works with the other mowers in-game, but for whatever reason, this one has a little bit of a bug where it gets stuck. Hopefully they'll fix that pretty quickly. But I do like these mowers. I have been using them. Obviously, they fit with these tractors, so they're a little worn looking. I like it. Then we have the next step. If you need to dry your grass out, we have the tedder. This tedder is wheeled. When you set it down, it rolls all over the place, but we have a little tedder and it unfolds. So it's a good little tedder for our little tractors.
Cute.
Yeah, it's cute. That's right. And the windrower. This is a pain in the butt to use. It takes forever to windrow with this, but it's a small tractor. Those little tractors are not going to be able to pull that big windrower easily, even the smallest one. So this is probably pretty scale with what you need to do with a little tractor, and you just take your time and make your windrows. Last but not least, well, there's more, but We have this small baler. Now, interestingly, this is an in-game asset, but it makes really small bales. And unfortunately, we don't have a bale pickup that can pick these up really easily. They kind of are messy because they flop all over the place, and you get a ton of bales, but they're little. So it's kind of cool, though. It's different, and I'll show you the bales here in a second. This is the collector wagon. So this fills up with 50 bales, and then you can dump it off or sell them or store them. But it makes a mess. It doesn't put them down neatly. So unlike the other bale trailers in the game, this is going to leave a mess. It just dumps them out in a big pile. And you can see inside here the little bales. I'm trying to, get up here so you can see them, but they're kind of hard to see. But they're tiny. They're little handheld bales. These are the kind of bales that you would see at a farm where people pick them up and carry them around. And that's cool because those do exist. You can use them for seats at a concert or to drink apple cider. But those are our little mini biscuits right there. All right, so we'll look at this next. But we're going to take these out. This is the vintage cultivators, and also I bought a pair of vintage plows. And then last but not least, I think, there's two more things, but this is the Booker collection wagon. And I really like this wagon because it acts not only as a collecting wagon, but it also is like a little go-kart for your farm. So we've kind of been missing. There's modified gators and stuff like that, but they look terrible and they don't work right and they're buggy. This one actually works well. It was in the original farm. All of this stuff was in the 2013 version of the game, but this one's cool. So I like the fact that you can hop in, and it's like having a little golf cart for your farm, and you can drive around and get to different places and check and see how your crops are doing without pulling a tractor out. I'm sure this thing gets pretty good mileage. But then you can also use it as a collection wagon to collect grass, and it is not cheap, though. Out of all the equipment that's given to you in the pack, this is one of the more expensive pieces of equipment. But I like it because you can examine your fields and just kind of putz around. It's almost like a European version of a pickup truck, I mean, you're going to use this as a multi-purpose vehicle. One's to drive around and check things, the other is to collect with it. So, like it. I really like this a lot. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite pieces of equipment in the game, and I'm glad they brought it over. I loved it in 2013, and I love it again here in 2015. So thank you for doing this, Giants. Last but not least, what do we have? Well, for those of you that are familiar with collecting silage, and we're going to run over to the bin here, so hold on. We have I wanted to show you, this is chaff. So if we go into our menu, and we go to mods, this is where they're going to reside, and I go to harvesters, I have a new unit here. This is a Farr Harvester. It's a 650. It's $5,300. This is by far the cheapest forage harvester in the game. It also takes, as you can see, it's little tiny. Now here's, for example, a normal forage harvester right here, this crone. And the crone has a header that looks like this. That's about 9 feet or 10 feet wide, right? Let's see, 4.2 meters. No, that's even bigger, right, Seth?
Ton of money.
Yeah, look how expensive it is, but that's just the header. So anyway, as opposed to being about 12.5 feet wide, this ends up being about 1.5 feet wide. It's going to take you about an hour to harvest like half of a hectare. A full hectare might take you like an hour and a half to 2 hours. This basically attaches to the back of the tractor, and then you attach your trailer. It only fills up one trailer, and it only fills up small trailers. So I would suggest that you get... That brings us to the last asset that they've given us with this DLC pack. Where did my little trailers go? I think I got to go find them. They're probably out in the field somewhere. Okay, they are. These little wagons, of course, they're very small compared to the other ones in the game. They hold 4,500 units or liters as far as volume goes. You know what? These are okay. The problem that I'm having is if they're on any kind of slant, they slide. And this is a problem that the mods have too. So they're cool looking though. They match the equipment. You're going to hook that harvester here on the back of the tractor, and then this trailer is going to hook to that. But once again, you can only pull one trailer at a time. So you're kind of skunked because you have to swap trailers constantly. These fill up really fast. It's a long process to do it this way, but that's what antique farming is. So anyway, if you're into the older equipment and you're looking for kind of a relaxing way to play, this does change the game a bit. It makes it definitely slower paced. It's going to take you longer to get anything done, but I think it also makes it a little more realistic. The way that they originally set up the game, every 24 hours you have a brand new crop and you have fast equipment and you get it all planted. This kind of slows the pace of the game down a little bit. It's like the soil mod. The soil mod does the same thing. It slows the pace of the game down. It makes you really think about what you're doing, and it can take up to a week to grow your crops. So here, this kind of does that same idea, and I like that. I think that it makes the game have more depth and a little more realism to it. So anyway, thanks again, DLC, for Giants DLC, for putting this out. I'm glad that they finally released these tractors into the game. And all my viewers, thank you again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. And this is a great mod because it's free. Oh, and by the way, at the end of the video here, I want to put a little note. I did end up finding the M66 Farr Harvester. Somebody did convert it to the 2015 model, and it's actually pretty good. So let's take a real quick look at that before we shut down. Once again, this is not included in the game. It's an aftermarket mod. So let's go ahead. Here is the unit. It's 34,000, and we'll go ahead and grab one, and then we're going to grab the header for it. And we'll just take a real quick look at that. Once again, this is not part of it, but it was. I looked up M66 on modhub.com, and it pulled it right up. So, and I think it was the version 1.2 or something like that. Here it is. So it looks good, and you know, it's not great looking, but it's good enough for it matches the other ones that are in the game, and it gets dirty pretty cool too. You can see the wheels are starting to get dirty. It looks nice. So this does match the tractors, but I wanted to share that with you so that you can see that this harvester is available on modhub.us. So anyway, have a great night, guys. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the fields.